Okay, here's a walkthrough of this practice 1 in case you needed help with it still. Okay, so here's an object that's doing 3 different things in one motion. All right, so if we want to describe this, we're going to say here, the object starts at a position of 4 meters and stands still for 3 seconds. Okay, so remember when the slope of this line here, right, when it's a flat line, the slope is 0. That means it's not moving. Okay, and then the object moves in a negative direction, all right, because the slope is negative direction. And then if I compare these 2 slopes, right, the negative one to me looks a lot steeper. We'll calculate it in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to say quickly, moves in a negative direction quickly for, so that's 3 seconds to 5 seconds. So it does that for 2 seconds. Then moves in a, let's just don't say in a, let's just say moves slowly in a positive direction, okay, or slower, right? It might not be slow, but it's slower than the other one. For, let's see, 5 to 11. Okay, so that does that for 6 seconds. Okay, all right, so that's just how to describe it really without any numbers or anything. Okay, all right, then if we want to calculate those slopes, all right, this point here would be 3, 4. Okay, and this point here would be 5, negative 3. Okay, so for part 2, I guess part 1 has a velocity of 0, so we don't need to do that. Okay, if I do my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay, remember this is my x2, y2, x1, y1. And it doesn't matter the order that you pick as long as you just keep consistent, okay? So I'm going to have negative 3 minus 4 meters, okay? So that's this one minus this one, all right? And then 5 minus 3, and that's going to be seconds. 5 minus 3, all right? So that's going to be negative 7 in 2 seconds, or negative 3.5 meters per second. Okay, so that's the velocity for that second segment. All right, now if I want to do the same thing for the last one, I can use the same point again, 5, negative 3. Okay, and I can use 11, 4. All right, so now if I do again my slope, okay, I'll do the y's first. So I'm going to do 4 minus negative 3. Okay, I'm going to call this one x1, y1, the other one still x2, y2. Okay, so 4 minus negative 3, and that's meters. And then 11 minus 5 seconds, right? So 4 minus negative 3 is positive 7 in 6 seconds. Okay, so again, remember I want to put this into a decimal always. 6 is 1.2, about 1.2 meters per second. Okay. All right, so that would be their velocities. Okay, and then if I wanted to know some other things about them, and I could find out how far they go. Okay, so total displacement, remember, is just the final minus the initial position. Okay, and it ends right up here at 4 meters minus, it also started at 4 meters. So guess what? He didn't really go anywhere. Okay, and then distance, steps on the ground. I want to add up each one. So the first place he went nothing. Okay, and then in this segment, he went from 4 all the way to negative 3. So that's a total of 7 meters. Okay, and then in this part, he went from negative 3 back to 4. That was another 7 meters. Remember that negatives don't matter if we're talking about distance. So that's just going to be a total of 14 meters.